Right now, the Dow is down 584 points, and the NASDAQ has lost 216. Massachusetts Democrat Elizabeth Warren says while Trump may be trying to punish those countries, Americans will be the one to suffer when prices go up. Appearing on CBS Mornings, she uses this example from Canada.
I got to tell you, putting a tariff on maple syrup doesn't help us here at home. All it does is drive up prices for, everybody who wants to eat pancakes.
But Oklahoma Republican Senator James Lankford says it had to be done.
What we've seen, obviously, in Mexico in the past several years has been a dramatic increase in illegal immigration coming across the border, and the Mexican authorities haven't stopped it. They've just basically allowed people to be able to pass through. President Trump said, I'm going to put major tariffs on this because I want fentanyl to stop. I want illegal immigration to stop.
Ukraine says it needs security guarantees from the U.S. to survive. A day after President Trump froze military aid that was headed there, CBS's Imtiaz Tayyab is in Kyiv.
Mikhailo Podolyak is a top advisor to President Volodymyr Zelensky.
Can Ukraine defeat Russia without the support of the U.S. and President Trump?
What I can say for sure is that Ukraine will still fight. But I will ask you a question. Would the U.S. be okay to stay on the sidelines when we need to stop Russian aggression?
Better news for the Pope comes from the Vatican this morning. CBS's Chris Livesay is in Rome.
He is no longer using that mechanical ventilation. He's back to using nasal tubes and high-flow oxygen.
But his prognosis is still guarded after 2 respiratory episodes yesterday. He's been in the hospital for nearly 3 weeks with double pneumonia. Severe weather has left some 300,000 customers without power in the Dallas area, and 2 storms are merging to bring nasty weather from the Rockies all the way to the East Coast. Meteorologist Craig Allen.
The most impactful area for this storm will be from northeast Colorado through the northwest sections of adjacent Kansas, right through most of the state of Nebraska, Iowa, into lower Minnesota, and then over into Wisconsin.
The world's largest iceberg is stuck, as are the creatures who live there. Here's CBS's Vicki Barker.
It broke off the Antarctic ice shelf back in 1986 and has been slowly drifting through the area known as Iceberg Alley ever since. But now it's stuck in shallow offshore waters, along with the millions of penguins and seals that call it home.
The Dow is down 590. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Jackson Hewitt wants you to save money on tax prep. We're saving money by having our intern rap in this commercial.
Don't stress, Jackson Hewitt's got expert tax prep, $149 or less. Yo, some tax guys lie about price. They got hidden fees, that ain't nice. Ain't nice. Don't ignore MC Kevin's rhyme, cause this deal's for a limited time. $149.
For tax prep that's $149 or less, hurry into Jackson Hewitt today.
No cap.
Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at wgnsradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Hello and good morning to your Tuesday morning edition of the Roundtable Show with Rick and Wayne. We come to you every Tuesday morning here at WGNS, and hope everybody's having a great day. Mr. Wayne, how are you, buddy?
I'm great. Wish this weather would settle down into pure spring rather than, jumping back and forth between 20s and 50s and 60s. So I'm enjoying this morning. The breeze is a little cool, but other than that, I'm a happy guy. I think I'm seeing some grass come up. So, that's always good.
Well, I have it's always a question of if they're daisies or if they're daffodils. They're blooming in my yard right now.
Well,
my neighbor's already brought some up for my mom. And
well, you had a big pad poured this weekend, so you got something else blooming in your yard as well.
My property just sunk to one side. I had 72 yards of concrete, and I feel like my property's leaning one way with all that weight. So new shop coming in.
I tell you what, that's I poured concrete the summer between my junior and senior year out at Rivergate Mall, and that was tough. Pouring concrete's tough. I guess being an iron worker or something probably a little worse than that, but toting 5-gallon buckets of concrete up and down the stairwell.
What? Do you know what slump is?
No, sir.
That's how thick and thin concrete is, and I've learned you want it thinner than you want it thicker, because if you got to pull that thing through that slab, it can get rough pretty quickly.
I'm too old for that.
We went that 5 or 6. I think we had some that was worse than that or lower than that, and it was quite heavy.
Yep. So this morning I am very pleased, and we're both honored to have a longtime friend of ours, but also who personally has, and his family has served our county community for longer than I can count, and I'm just so pleased to have not only Commissioner but also Chairman Robert P. Over District 4 to be with us, longtime chairman of budget, which numbers like that just makes my head go poof. So good morning, Mr. Chairman. Glad to have you.
Hey, thank you. It's good to see both of you again. And I miss both of you on the commission, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. You have served this community long and very well, but your family has served this community long and well as well.
My father, of course, was a commissioner quite a few years ago, and he served 8 years on the county commission, ran for, at that time, county executive a couple of times. But our family's always been involved, not just in politics, but in helping our community and working with our community through ball fields, things like that. Kind of give you a little history of our family. I traced most of my family through the Wright side, which was my grandmother. And the Wrights were pretty unique, and they're kin to most people in this county. If you start looking, you'd be amazed at how many people you're actually kin to, and we can talk about that later. But 2 of my ancestors signed the petition to make Rutherford County a county.
Wow.
So, like I said, we've been around a while. But one of the cousins, this tree that was recently cut down on the courthouse square there,
right.
My cousins planted that tree. So, like I said, we've been around a while. A couple things. Two of the ancestors in that line fought in the War of 1812. And we had a little family reunion, and of course I got a good history lesson from that, and I do love history. But one of them fought in Alabama. I don't know if you remember, there was a massacre there. At least we call that when a lot of the white people get killed. It's always a massacre. But anyway, he fought there, and the other one fought with Jackson in New Orleans during the War of 1812. And people don't think about that much, but to me, during the War of 1812, our capital was attacked and White House was burned. To me, that's kind of like our 9/11 for that generation. But these two men that I'm talking about, they were older, settled, but yet they went out to fight. But that always amazed me that, they were willing to do that. One of my other ancestors was like a trustee for the county, and they leveled the tax to build the first brick courthouse here in the county. That one has, of course, been replaced with the one that you see there now. My family, kind of an interesting story I'll tell you real quick about the Wrights. They had a mill over on Cripple Creek, and it was on Wrights Creek. But my great-grandfather had built this mill, and he put a dynamo in. And dynamo, of course, generates electricity. And they had all this excess power. Back then, basically, they would charge up batteries for radios and a little bit of lighting. But they had all this excess power. So my great-uncle, strung a string of lights down Cripple Creek. And if you know Cripple Creek, it's rough and rocky and trees and snags. Anyway, that was some of the first lighting out in rural Rutherford County that was available. I mean, you had lights in the city, but anyway, people, he said, would drive just from miles away just to see those lights at night where he had them strung up. But anyway, one day he was out working, and he said this black sedan with gold lettering on the side pulled up, and the guy got out. He said, "You, Mr. Wright?" He said, "Well, yeah." And he said, "Is this your bill here?" And, "Yeah." And he said, "You got lights you're stringing up at night here?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, you're going to have to start turning them off." He said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, I'm from the FAA, and there's airplanes flying over at night, and they're seeing these lights, and there's almost been several crashes where people thought this was the Murfreesboro Airport, and they were trying to land in Cripple Creek."
What a great story.
But anyway, I've always found that really interesting. His brother, and some of y'all probably heard this story, of course, back in the Depression area, you did what you had to do. But anyway, he had found an old car. Somebody had rolled off into a sinkhole, pulled that puppy out, and they rebuilt it. I've actually got pictures of the frame of this old car. But he and a friend drove it to California, and there was actually in a movie out there, but they traveled all over the West in that old car.
Come out of a sinkhole.
If you know Greg Tucker, he's got a pretty good write-up on that story there. But like I said, I've actually got some photos of the old car. It's still owned by one of my family members, one of my cousins.
Do you know the make and model?
You know, I've got that written down, and I don't recall it right offhand, but it was I think it was an old Cadillac.
Okay.
But like I said, when they went out west, somehow or other they got it. Somebody wanted to use it for a movie, and they actually did some modifications to it. And like I said, that's in Greg's story, and he knows more about that than I do. But like I said, I've actually got pictures, and one of my cousins, he's actually in New Jersey now, I think, has got the vehicle. But anyway, I don't want to hold y'all up from.
No, that's exactly what we want.
No, we accentuate the positive, and the P family has been so positive for this county community.
I mean, with social media the way it is today, a lot of people see things like they're trying to be involved in now, and they don't know the history, they don't know the background, they don't know the person. So it's easy to attack you for something you may say, or you ask questions about something, but if they know you more as a person, I think it would be more apprehensive of a person to go attacking people. And I see that a lot right now with social media, especially with the commission and the mayor and the council and the town council in Smyrna. They all jump to conclusions about backyard deals and everything else, but the more they know about you and your family, everything else, I think it would limit that. So we're all for it.
Rick and I both got to work with you on the commission, and we know that you have integrity and honesty, and that you serve this county well.
That's right.
I really appreciate that from both of you. Well, let me tell you, one of my passions is, and you know this, is education.
Mm-hmm.
Public education is super important to us. That's what's brought a lot of this growth here. People don't realize that, but when these companies are looking to move in, one thing they look at is, of course, the workforce and how well they're educated, but they also want a place where their kids can be educated. And I kind of give you my background on education, kind of give you some of my age. I remember when Interstate 24 was being dug. Okay.
Me too, unfortunately.
But I went to school at Halls Hill, which was at that time was a small elementary school. They had two teachers. My teacher taught grades 1 through 6. We didn't have kindergarten at that time, and then you had a teacher for 7th and 8th grade. I was in the 1st and 2nd grade there. When they closed the school, I went to Kittrell and remained there. But it was a good way to be educated. She would talk to the 1st graders, do their lessons, then move to the second grade. And as you were sitting there, you couldn't help but hear what the other students were learning. And, there was a row of first graders, second graders, third. And to me, it was pretty good learning environment. Of course, from there, I went to Kittrell, where I graduated in 1972, which was the last year that the old high schools were still there. Now, that fall, Oakland and Riverdale opened. Kind of give you an idea of some of the quality of the teachers we had. Don Odom, I think y'all may recognize that name.
Certainly.
Former superintendent of schools. Don was my advisor on my senior year in high school. Of course, Don's not but about 6 years older than me.
Yeah, he was my principal at David Urey when I went through David Urey.
But anyway, we really had some outstanding teachers there. Most of the teachers that I had went on to Oakland and Riverdale and became head of their departments. Laura Salmon, for instance, and it goes on and on. But we had some outstanding teachers there, and you think, well, a little country school like that, it's no big deal. But, those little country school teachers are the ones that educated people from Oakland and Riverdale later on. Some of the things we did, I enjoyed. Of course, I played basketball, and I love that sport. Of course, that's about the only sport we had out at Kittrell. It was a team activity.
Could I stop you right there? Because
Sure.
I played on the elementary team at Laverne 7th and 8th, and you and I graduated the same year.
Yep. So
we played against each other when Laverne played Kittrell in elementary school. So I did not realize that you and I had graduated the same year in high school, and I was going to ask you, did you play basketball? So I might have fouled you.
I don't recall.
So you found somebody else from 1972 class. There's a big debate with Wayne and I. We've had several people on, and I graduated in 1989 at Smyrna High, and we've had a lot of accomplished people for that year. And y'all have had a colonel that actually went through Smyrna High with Wayne, but now you can boast on Commissioner P here that he graduated the same year you did, and his accomplishments.
Yeah,
that's a big deal between us two.
Well, and in those community schools like Walter Hill and Buchanan and Kittrell and Eagleville and Christiana, they were special. And playing basketball in those gymnasiums, like at Walter Hill, if you could be bringing the ball, they had a pole barn gym, and you'd be bringing the ball down the court and then plop.
Hit a flat spot.
Hit a flat spot, and the ball just died. And one of their players was just anticipating it, picked it up, and goes the length of the court for an easy layup.
Yeah, we all knew where the dead spots were. And we used whatever.
Got to corral into that area.
Monty Hale, I don't know if y'all recall Monty, but a longtime radio announcer for sports.
He'll be probably walking through here shortly.
Anyway, I remember he said one time, he said, if you want to go steal chickens out at Kittrell, go on a basketball night, because nobody's going to be home. One of the things that, besides basketball, that I liked at Kittrell was 4-H. And you don't see it. It's beginning to resurge now because there's so many wonderful opportunities with 4-H out there. But when I was there, they have what they call a Share the Fun contest. And our group won that statewide one year. And it was the Kittrell Square Dancers. And I was one of the original people that was on the Kittrell Square Dance group, and we performed. We were on the Carl Tipton show.
Wow.
We were on different the noon show one time, and we traveled around to the international folk festivals in Knoxville. Got to dance once with Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs playing Foggy Mountain Breakdown, and they wore us out. But it was wonderful seeing people like that. But later, that became the Rutherford County Square Dancers, and that opened it up to people from Smyrna, and a lot of David Lee and a lot of the Brewers, and all those folks danced with us, and it was wonderful. They still have a group, I think, called Cripple Creek Cloggers that are out there. But one thing I wanted to mention, and this kind of sticks in my mind and kind of has influenced me in my thoughts about government over the years. In 1968, I was in the 8th grade, and we took our 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C. And April the 4th is my birthday. So on my birthday, there was a gentleman in Memphis who was killed, Martin Luther King. And we had a big sign on our bus that said DC, from Tennessee to DC or bust. Well, of course, with the news of Dr. King being assassinated, there was a lot of upheaval in this country. And signs came off the bus. We went into DC, and we could not go into the city for the first 3 days we were there. So we went to Mount Vernon, Monticello, different places like that. But I'm wondering, why can we not go into the city? Well, they took us up to Arlington, which overlooks the city. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking down on the city there, and this is a kid that's in the 8th grade, in 1968, and that city was on fire. There was billows of black smoke all over the place. Well, the next day we got to go into the city, and on every street corner there was a guardsman with a rifle and a cop. And you'd be going down the streets, and there were burned out cars everywhere. You didn't see many vehicles at all. You'd see a whole brigade, or I don't know what they call them, a squad of riot police with shields, batons, helmets, a quick step going through. But what really nailed it for me, when we got to the Capitol building, and you imagine an 8th grader seeing this for the first time, I'm looking up at the Capitol steps, and on the Capitol steps, all the way around this building, are machine gun nests sandbagged in to protect our Capitol from being burned down. Wow. That's how serious it was. And, that's something that's really stuck with me. I'm thinking, and it scared me. I think, here's the center of the power of our government, and it's under siege here. And, that's something that's stuck with me over the years. Actually, if you remember when we had the riots a couple of years back.
That's right.
And to me, when I saw that, it was just a flashback. And, not a good flashback in any means. But anyway, that's something that's kind of influenced me and let me know, our government's fragile, but it's strong if we're standing together and we unite ourselves. And, there's so much out there that tries to divide us, and so much divisiveness nowadays. But, that's like during World War II. My people fought in World War II, and, they were in the Navy for the most part. But, that's something that we have to pull together and as a country and love each other. And that's something I think we've gotten away from.
Yes, sir.
One last thing I'll say, we'll break into other things maybe. There's always 3 things I said I'd never do. Now, first was be a politician. and the reason I say that is Dad and I used to hunt and fish so much together. And, of course, he became a commissioner about the time I started college, so it was kind of a double fall. He was busy with that, and I was starting school. So we didn't get to associate and fish and hunt like we had in the past. So I always said, I'm not going to do that to my kids. The second thing I said I'd never be was a firefighter. That's a dangerous job. Of course, I've been a volunteer firefighter for over 15 years and was assistant chief out at Kittrell. But it's something I learned to love, and actually if I had a career to do over again, I would get into the fire service. Now, the third thing was I said I'd never be a cop. Now, if I reached in my pocket here, I could show you I've got a reserve sheriff's deputy in my pocket. I've never served as a policeman, but I'm going to tell you, we don't give those guys near the credit they deserve. It's such a dangerous job. People do not know the violence that our police have to endure, and it is such a dangerous job. And, I can't imagine being able to do that. But
Rick knows that intimately.
Yes, he does.
All 3, unfortunately.
Well, that's right. Y'all certainly have a lot in common, don't you?
We sure do. But hey, I think we're going to come against our first break here, but why don't we take a break and we'll come back and we'll get into a little bit more. But you're listening to Chairman Robert P. of District 4 of the County Commission here in Rutherford County. But we'll take our first break and be right back with you in just a minute.
Chip Walters here with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates. I was named a top 10 agent in the #1 Exit Realty office in America in 2021. The top question I get around town, how's the market? Good question. And the answer's changed a few times this year alone. I'd like to know what you've heard and share some solid data we have. Give me a call and let's have a cup of coffee and take a look at what's happening in your neighborhood. All my contact info is right on my website, choosechip.net. I'm Chip Walters with Exit Realty, Bob Lamb & Associates.
Fellas, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low testosterone. Don't wait. Get checked by the experts at Low T Center. They have over a decade of experience helping patients achieve life-changing results with testosterone therapy, or TRT. And for established patients, they offer the convenience of physician-monitored at-home TRT with advanced personalized plans that include both lab testing and self-inject medication. Low T Center makes it easy, shipping directly to your door. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment online. Low T Center, reinventing men's health care.
Insurance should be simple, not complicated. That's why at Rayburn Insurance, Agent Rick Hull cuts through the jargon and helps you understand your options clearly. He's committed to finding the right coverage that fits your unique needs and budget. Their team has been a trusted partner in the community since 1973. Ready to make insurance easy? Get with Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency. He's ready to help you get the protection you deserve.
Where is the best barbecue in town? In 1920, East Main. The best barbecue for miles around is in 1920, East Main. You can buy it by the pound, sandwich, platter, or plate. No matter what you choose, it will taste great. You can come with a friend, by yourself, or with a date. Just Lick Pig Barbecue. Barbecue pork, beef, or chicken, Brunswick stew, great sides, lunch specials, down-home atmosphere, and they cater. Slick Pig Barbecue, it's the best.
Hi, this is Taylor at Bell Jewelers. Bell Jewelers is having their Black Friday week special through November 30th. Select items are marked down, but the biggest special we have going on is that you get a free gift with purchase if you spend $2.99 or more. So come visit us at Bell Jewelers. Bell Jewelers is having their Black Friday week special through November 30th.
Bell Jewelers, 821 Northwest Broad Street, across from Toots.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by AmeriCare Pest Control and the law offices of John Day.
This is a paid legal ad.
When a family member is lost as a result of someone else's negligence, the grief can be unbearable. It also leaves you with a lot of questions like, how did this happen? Who's responsible? And is my family going to be okay? That's a lot to go through, but with the law offices of John Day on your side, you don't have to go through any of it alone. We understand what you're going through, and we have the experience to get the answers, justice, and compensation your family deserves. Call the law offices of John Day.
It's time for WGNS Good Neighbor Events, and we remind you, this is the weekend that we switch to daylight savings time. So before you go to bed Saturday night, set your clock ahead 1 hour. And speaking of this weekend, the Cripple Creek Cloggers want to teach you how to clog. It's absolutely free. Sunday afternoon at 4:30 over at the Smyrna Senior Activity Center. That's 4:30 this Sunday afternoon. If you have questions, call Steve Cates at 615-896-3559. Great exercise and lots of fun. And also, there's a grief support group that meets every Wednesday morning at 10 at the St. Clair Street Senior Center. That's at 325 St. Clair Street here in Murfreesboro, Wednesday mornings at 10. People have been asking, how can I volunteer to be a part of Greenhouse Ministries? You need to come over to Greenhouse Ministries. They have a volunteer orientation every Thursday morning at 10 at Greenhouse Ministries. Remember, this weekend we change times. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor Events.
Rutherford weather.
A wind advisory will go into effect this afternoon. Few spotty rain showers possible late this afternoon. Partial sunshine develops, a high around 70 and rather windy. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS.
Currently, it's 56.
Broadcasting from the Middle Tennessee Electric Studios. Take control of your account management and energy consumption with the MyMTE app. Download from the App Store and manage your account, improve your energy habits, and more. MTE, serving to make life better since 1936.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
And good morning. Welcome back to the second segment of Tuesday Mornings with Rick and Wayne. And we have longtime friend, even longer public service to this county community, Commissioner and Chairman Robert P. And Mr. Chairman, thank you for being with us this morning. When we served on the commission together, you had an app on your phone, and I found out that I was a distant cousin, which was kind of cool.
Well, we did, and I'd like to talk about that for just a second or two. It's when you get into genealogy, it's so interesting, and so many people don't know their family. And, you know, you've probably got family that you're not aware of, and as Wayne mentioned there, I use this little app. It's called Family Search. It's free. It's the military puts in a lot of the information there. Of course, the Latter-day Saints do that. The Find a Grave Society. But anyway, there's no advertisements or anything like that on there. But it's a wealth of information, and it's simple to use. But give you an example, you can do a search, and that's how Wayne and I found out our lineage there. You can do a search. This does not search anybody that's living. Once you pass away, there's a number that you're issued. You can search by number, you can search by name or birth date. So it's pretty simple, it's easy to use, but there's so much history out there. And what fascinated me about it is learning about the people that had moved into colonial America and how my lineage through that came through. And I've done the 23andMe thing too. And,
yes, sir.
Found out most of my ancestors were from the Essex part of England, which kind of surprised me. I thought it would be more the Northumberland area, looking at the right side of our family. But kind of give you some of the surprises you see. My wife is from Iowa. She was Patricia Gipple. She's a long-term teacher and retired now. She taught at Central back when it was a middle school. Tom Tenpenny was there. When Siegel Middle opened, she moved there. She retired in 2016. But anyway, she taught about 40 years. But wow. Anyway, I love going to Iowa and seeing her folks and family up there. It's beautiful farmland. One day, her dad and I were driving around, and there was a cemetery, and you know how they have these arched wrought iron names over the top of them. And this said Tennessee Cemetery, and it shocked me. We're talking about southeast Iowa, 600-something miles from here. And I said, Max, what is that all about? He said, well, during the Civil War, a lot of the people from Tennessee moved up here to get away from the fighting. And what people don't know about the Civil War is Tennessee was the second most heavily fought state. More battles in Tennessee other than Virginia than any other state during the war. But these folks had moved up there. Now, I never thought to go over there and look, but anyway, my girls were doing the genealogy for both our families, and they found a right in my wife's family name. So this little app I'm talking about, you can actually do a search and it'll show you. So, I got on there and I'm saying, well, I'm going to see how this guy's kin to my wife. Well, when I put it in there, it didn't go to her, it came to me. And come to find out, Pat and I are like 8th or 10th cousins.
No.
So, what is that like in Gone with the Wind about what they say? Well, them Southern boys always married their cousins. Well, yeah. I had to go a long way away to find somebody to know anything about me to get married. But anyway, I thought that was a cute story. But
yes, sir.
Just about everybody that I've talked to, if you look at your Bible, we're all kin if you go back far enough.
Yes, sir.
And I think you'd be amazed at how much we're kin and how people don't know their lineage. But I'd advise anybody, it's really fascinating. As you get older, maybe it means a little more to you.
Yes,
but
sir.
It's a fascinating stories to me. And that's really an easy app. You can go on your app store and find Family Search, and it's free and easy to use. But
yes, sir. Yeah, I was pretty pretty surprised, because we basically grew up on opposite ends of the county.
Yeah.
And I believe we were 9th cousins, if I recollect correctly.
Yeah, and I don't recall, but I probably got it when I do one like that, and it's somebody I know, I'll usually save a snapshot of it. That way I can go back and find it again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You've like I said, you've served long and well with the commission. Would you like to talk a little bit about, of course, being chairman of budget for a number of years? That's a heck of a responsibility when you have a county budget that's within spitting distance of $1 billion. That's just it's beyond me, Mr. Chairman.
It is. It's amazing how much we've grown and, how much our county's changed. Like I said, I remember when there were a lot of gravel roads, and we used to ford a lot of these creeks that we got bridges over now. People
Yes,
don't
sir.
remember that living that way.
Yes, sir.
But like I said, it's phenomenal how we've grown over the years, and a lot of that's got to do with where we are physically. We're within a day's travel of 90% of the population of the United States of America here, and that's part of the reason you see all these corporations moving here, because of the shipping distance. So that's got a lot to do with our growth. Of course, we've provided good schools.
Yes, sir.
I've got a good climate here. We've got good people here.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
we
sir.
basically we have open arms. That's a lot to do with it. Personally, I like people as a rule, but we're filling up pretty fast.
As a rule.
As a rule.
I love that caveat, Mr. Chairman.
People all have differences, and
Yes,
you've got to learn to work with that. And that's one thing you learn as a commissioner. It can be tough. You guys know that. I'm one of these people that you get problems thrown at you, and you got to figure out, how can I fix this? For instance, being on budget, I don't vote for everything out there. I say no, and I'll still say no a lot of times. But at the end of the day, if it passes the commission, I got to figure out how to pay for it, and that's the problem with our budget and how we pay for things. As Wayne mentioned, we're pushing right up against $1 billion in our for our county. I think it's about $110,000 a year less, or that close to being $1 billion. Most of that is schools. It's $650 million plus, and that's not counting the debt. If
Right.
you count the debt in there, you're getting between 70 and 80% of our money is being spent on education. So that's where your money's going. Not only that, public safety. We've got growing needs from fire, police, ambulance service. Those are the three main things, and that's what makes up most of the other costs in the county. Of course, you've got infrastructure costs with the roads, bridges, things like that. It's easy to sit back and say, well, this traffic here's crazy. Why haven't they done anything about that? Why do we not have enough schools? And you basically, excuse me, you got to pay for those things. And two, you have to, figure out what's the best way to go and where the needs are. That's like on a road. If we decide that we need a road, we've been trying to get Jefferson Pike widened for years. We've got it down to 840 now, or close to being completed there. But even once we say, okay, we're going to build this road, from that point there, when you got the funding, it's still going to take almost 5 years to complete that road. And people don't realize the timelines. So that's part of the problem. You're always running behind. It's interesting as far as me being on budget. When I first got on the commission, I couldn't get on budget. It was several years before I was there was an opening, I was able to get on. But the thing was, and part of the reason I got on is, even though I wasn't on budget, I went to all the budget meetings.
Yeah.
Now that's where all the, anything that's spent through the county will go through the budget. So if you want to keep your pulse on what's happening with the county, watching the budget meetings is the way to go. As far as if you want to keep up and be in the know, watch the budget committees.
What's the three major things you see facing the county right now? And there may be more than three or less than three, but what's the big things facing us right now that's you're finding?
Well, of course, keeping your nose above water as far as the budget goes, and taxation, and trying to keep the taxes low. You know, it's hard on a lot of people that are, especially with fixed incomes. It's hard on our young folks finding a place to afford our housing. So those are all, you know, very important things. What we're going to do with our solid waste in the future, that's one of the big things going on right now. We're talking about a forensic center coming up. It's being presented this month. We've been looking at that for several years. So there's a couple of the issues that are out there right now.
Understand. So let's just talk about the landfill. It's the elephant in the room, really. But so there's not a proposal currently before the county commission, or it's got to either be brought up by the commissioner or the mayor to be even presented. So all the talk, and I know you've had some guests come on as far as public speaking and a lot of stuff on social media, but there's not that Republic's come up with a plan they want to present to you guys, but right now it's not even in the works for that to be presented, correct? Am I wrong?
No, you're correct. As far as I know, there's no motion out there anywhere for the county to do anything with Republic. Now, Republic gives us a report, you know, usually sometimes monthly, you know, an update to Public Works Committee, which I'm on, and you know, that landfill is part of what Public Works looks at. But they made a presentation where they would like to, you know, purchase our landfill, and they've made some offers. I want to make something clear is I've heard some charges and allegations of conflict of interest where commissioners are meeting with the Republic behind closed doors, and you know, basically your smoke-filled rooms, and being offered this and that for their vote. And basically that is foolishness. I have met with Republic. I think it's part of my job is to meet with people that want to talk to us about the future of this county. I've also met with Mayor McFarland and seen what his ideas are with this project with Waste Away. And again, that's part of my job. I have not been offered anything for a vote, and I wouldn't accept it if I did. Somebody did do that, the first thing I'd do would be stand up and walk out the door, because I'm not going to do something like that. Anybody that's got any questions about that, you know, my contact information's out there. All you got to do is call me or email me. By the way, when I said email, I want to mention something. The county's email is really poor, because what happens is if you send an email to me, if you look online, you'll see the county address for my email. They quarantine any message that you send to me, so I don't even know why they bother with doing it. But basically, you'll send me an email and I won't get it. And you thinking you've contacted me, and some people will say, hey, you never did answer me. Well, I never did get your message. So I use my own private email, and it should be listed on the websites too. But
so why is it quarantined?
Yeah, that's odd.
Well, look at what happened to our schools. Look what happened to MMC, where my brother works.
Okay.
You know, they were hacked. And let me tell you, we don't want that problem. And so I don't, you know, I think Cody York does a wonderful job. And one of the things I told him when he hired on, I said, don't let us get hacked. And he said he's doing his best to keep from it. And I said, if you want to get me mad, you know, let that happen. But he assured me he was going to do everything he could to prevent that. Now, that doesn't mean that he'll be 100% successful, because these guys, it's a day by day. They're always looking. They're always tapping. Any way they can get in, they will. That's why that is quarantine.
I had no idea.
So that's what that's all about.
Okay.
And you know, I'm sorry for the public not being able to reach me that way, but like I said, my private email is public out there. You're welcome to send it to that. You can text message me on my cell phone, and that's also on the website. So I should be pretty easy to contact. If you try to contact me and I don't reach out, it's because I hadn't got your message. So keep trying.
Yes, sir.
Right. You're listening to Rutherford County Commissioner Robert P. He's chairman of the Budget Committee and a longtime county commissioner with us. Wayne and I actually got to serve with him, and it was an honor to do that. But we're going to take our second break and be right back with you in just a minute.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Babbel. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at babbel.com/TNC.
At Babbel, we know that language is more. It's more than hello and goodbye, and good evening and good night. It's more than mastering talking about the weather or directions to the closest cafe. At Babbel, our mission is to help you learn language for the long run. Babbel gives you the skills to learn a language for life. Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you text radio to 64,000. That's radio to 64,000.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
First Shot, growing in Christ with life and athletic skills.
So we teach God's Word at everything we do to implant it in them so that they understand that the only way to get through the world is with God on their side.
First Shot founder and executive director Andy Herzer.
Our focus is on our inner city here at Patterson Park.
From academics to athletics, First Shot's focus is toward building a stronger, more courageous spirit to face opportunities and obstacles that our youth confront every day. To find out more about First Shot, go to firstshottn.org.
Did ancient Babylon shape today's churches? The book Influence of Babylon from Leon Daniels, host of The Truth Will Set You Free on Sundays, reveals the shocking connection through Rome. Discover the truth, Influence of Babylon. Get your copy today, now on Amazon.
In retirement, it's all about income. Your money, making money, and you're not spending down your principal. That's the way we do it at Retirement Income Solutions. So if you're spending down your principal or your money's not making money, keeping you ahead of inflation, check us out today at risolutions.net. risolutions.net. And make sure to join us Saturdays at noon and Sunday afternoons at 1 for Retirement Income Solutions Radio with Nathan Cox and Lindsay Cotter.
This is Kim Dunaway from Sunshine Nutrition Center. You hear me on Monday mornings at 7:20 talking about how to lead a healthier lifestyle. We carry supplements, personal care, and grocery items at both our Murfreesboro and Smyrna locations, family owned and operated since 1989.
This is a paid legal ad.
Hi, this is John Day of the Law Offices of John Day. I've lived and worked as a lawyer in Middle Tennessee for over 30 years, and to me, every single day has been an honor. That's why our firm is so involved with community programs like bicycle helmet giveaways and our Safe Ride Home program. At the Law Offices of John Day, we're not just looking to make donations. We want to make a difference in the community we hold so dear. And if you're ever injured, know that we are here for you too.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
And good morning and welcome back to the third and final segment of Tuesday Mornings with Rick and Wayne. And we've certainly had a great time with our good friend, Chairman of Budget, Commissioner Robert P. over the District 4. You and your family have served long and served well, Mr. Chairman, and Rick and I have had a great time, just chatting with you this morning.
Well, I appreciate that. I want to say that it's been an honor to serve as the Commissioner for the 4th District. People put a lot of faith in you. One thing I've always tried to do is listen, and if my constituents tell me something, I'm not one of these guys that say I need to come out here and educate them. I'm letting them educate me. So I'm listening, and I'm reactive to that. At the end of this term, I'll have been in office for 28 years.
Wow.
And like I said, I've never had a time when I didn't have somebody running against me. There was always a hard race, and I take that seriously, but I sincerely appreciate in people's faith and keeping me in office, and thank you them for that. I'd like to talk some about the landfill. That's probably the biggest issue out there.
It is,
sir. With you.
Absolutely.
Back when you were on the commission, we looked at the GNRC did a study for us on solid waste, and their proposal came back. It was basically a landfill 2.0. So their recommendation was that we expand the landfill. There were 4 commissioners at that time who stood up and said no. That was myself, that was Will Jordan, that was Charlie Baum, and that was Mr. Piercy. And we convinced the other commissioners to go along with us, and we voted 21-0 to not let them expand. Now, why did we do that? Why did I do that? First of all, it's got a lot to do with geography. The wind here blows from the west to the east. My district is to the east side of that landfill. Now, you can say what you want to, people over in the 3rd district. My daughter lives in the 3rd district in Walter Hill. But the people that are on the east side of that landfill are the ones that are getting the brunt of the smell. Now, that's why I wanted to convince these people not to let them expand, because 3 things: the smell, the traffic, and then I worry about the future environment. And then 2, I worry too that to me it's not a solution digging a hole in the ground, throwing your trash there. That we need to do better, and we can do better. But anyway, I want to be very clear with people, why I voted that way. And, as I've looked at what things have happened over the year, and we actually have had a presentation here in the last month with Republic and what they are offering. And, of course, it's vital to them to be able to stay in business. They make a lot of money off of us. There's no doubt about that. Of course, there's a lot of good benefits for us. They did a study with MTSU, and you folks get out there. I think that's online. You can look at it. But there's a lot of jobs. Of course, there's a cost. Right now we have a contract with Waste Management where we'll be shipping our waste and paying for the cost of shipping it out, and part of that MTSU study gets into that, the cost, and maybe future cost, because to me that's going to go up. When the closer landfills fill, then we'll have to start paying to ship it further away. So there's a lot of problems out there. Now, Republic has made some offers. I think a lot of you people are probably getting mailers that are kind of doing a broad outline of what they've offered. And I want to be clear on a couple things. Like I said, I voted against them expanding. They've asked me to support them, and I've told them straight up, here's what it would take for me to be able to support them. One is the people in my district want it or don't want it. That's who's going to decide for me, is the people in my district that I represent. Now, there's several things, that they have offered out there. One is they've offered to pay for the $20 million building transfer station and let us retain the ownership of it. And that's one thing. Now, we have to put money aside every year to maintain that landfill out there, and it's over $20 million a year. Now, it's actually costing us about $1.5 million, I think, a year just to upkeep. And that's on our closed landfill, okay?
Explain the transfer station for those people that don't know. We obviously do, but in layman's terms, what's it going to do?
Well, the transfer station is basically, we're not going to change how we're doing our trash now as far as convenience centers. You take your trash to the convenience center. Our trucks take it now to Republic.
Middle Point.
All right, to Middle Point. Now, what will happen when this transfer station's open? Our trash will go directly to the transfer station. It'll be dumped on a floor there in this building, and then it will be loaded into the larger trucks. These larger trucks may take 3 or 4 times the amount that we're getting in these trucks right now. Part of the reason I voted for the transfer station, of course, that was a plan B, in case, Republic had closed the landfill before we were ready, we would have a fallback. But part of it is anytime we send a truck up there on the landfill, or anybody sends a truck up there, there's danger of puncturing tires.
Mm-hmm.
Those tires are very expensive, and we puncture a lot of tires. Well, if we put 3 or 4 loads into one truck and put it up the hill, we have a lot less chance of losing tires. That's part of the reason I wanted the transfer station now. So basically what it'll do, it'll collect the garbage and put it into a larger container or a more compact container, and then it'll be shipped from here either to Republic or outside with waste management. So that's what it's doing.
At the cost of the county, basically.
Right. Well, it'll cost us so much per ton to have that hauled, and I don't have those figures right in front of me right now. Like I said, most of that's online. You can look at it, but that's part of what Republic is offering. They've actually said that they would stop all household trash out of Davidson County. So no more Nashville trash as far as household, and that doesn't close off commercial. So I don't know exactly how much difference that would make there. They've also said they would invest in a recyclable. They first said they mentioned a dirty MRF, which basically is not sorting. It's kind of like what we're doing right now, where we're taking cardboard and plastics and metal, and that is put together and then would be shipped out. So that's kind of a dirty MRF. A MRF basically is taking household garbage or whatever trash they're getting in, and it's put on conveyor lines and it's sorted out, and then the recyclables are used, and what can't be recycled is landfilled. So that's something that they've offered too. Now, as far as them getting my votes, there's several things, and I want people to know what they're offering is basically, to me, a starting point. All this stuff is negotiable, and for the people in my district, like I said, I want to repeat, people in my district are going to have to tell me they're okay with this, they want to do this. One thing they mentioned was they've got a price out there, and it's double what it is now, but to me that would have to be renegotiated every 3 to 5 years. That's something that Miss Allen had made a mistake of not setting up a time to recycle that in the past. They have mentioned having a citizen board. Well, that board should be appointed by the county commission, and that could be made up of people that are really watchdogs for the environment and for the people that live in that area. And I would want that citizens board to have teeth. Basically, if they were in violation, I would want them to have the ability to fine them, which to me, finding them doesn't mean a lot to a multi-billion-dollar company. But what would put some teeth in it is say, okay, you guys can't haul trash for a week or 2 weeks or a month.
Or cut your consumption down over that period of time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And make them take care of their problem.
Right.
If you've got a board that's got teeth. The other thing, and this may shock you or whatever, but I think the people that are worried about the environment like I am is, if you've watched Public Works, you know that I'm the one that keeps saying we need to dig up this old landfill and get rid of it.
Yes.
We've got liability out there. You can't eat the fish that are coming out of that river from down below that right now. I want that landfill dug up and that liability taken away from us, and that would be one of the negotiating points for me. And that is a possibility. They know what it would cost them to dig that up. But again, that would be negotiable. All the stuff that I'm mentioning is.
With digging it up, I know I've been out there. Even in 2006, when I came on the commission, we sent some people. They went to look in alternatives, because that's when the fire happened in Nashville, and they lost their incinerator, and we started getting all Nashville's trash. I think we went to South Carolina and a couple other places looking at these alternative sources that we want to go through. So it's always been here. It just keeps knocking on the door. We just ain't opened the door to Republic. Well, it was BFI back in that day, but how would it become issue before the commission? Because we talked about that earlier, but do you see this becoming a vote for the commission right now? I'm hearing a lot of no's, but obviously there's things on the table we need to let happen to play out so everybody can make an informed decision. But where do you feel with that?
Well, I've asked a couple of other commissioners in our own public works, and none of us are ready to do anything like that. Now, that's not saying that somebody couldn't. You could bring it up on the floor as far as that goes of the full commission, but I don't think any of us are ready. Now, what we're still looking for other alternatives to take care of our trash.
Newer technology.
Ecomore is one of the places I've looked at. It's similar to Waste Away, but digging a hole in the ground, covering it up is not the future, and that would be another one of the points I'd want to negotiate with them. Is any new technology that came out would be a game changer on any contract that we came up with Republic. But as far as what we're looking for, as far as the Public Works Committee, is I don't know anybody that's ready to jump out there and say, hey, I want to go with Republic, or I want to make a motion to look at this. That's not on the agenda for anybody that I'm aware of.
Right. We talked about smell earlier, and they spent supposedly $25 million for this methane reclaim thing that they're going to turn it into energy. Has that helped? I mean, I looked at the complaints as far as what the smell complaints are, but we are in March versus what it's going to be like in August. But has that helped any at all that you've found or heard?
Well, when these guys asked me, what it would take to get me to support them, and I said, it's the people over there. And I told them, I said, you want my vote? I said, it's the people in my district.
Yeah.
And I said, go out there and do a survey, and you ask them. And I said, come back to me. Well, see, I don't trust surveys that much. Somebody else doing it, because they're going to word it the way they want to.
Yeah.
I could mention one that the mayor's doing right now, but I'm not going to get into that. But I'm doing my own surveying. I'm calling people that I know. I'm going over people that are on the east side of that landfill that are getting the brunt of that smell, and it's kind of a 2-to-1. I'll have somebody tell me it stunk for 30 years and it still stinks. And then I've had people tell me, I smelled it once last year, and then another one say, well, I'll be out in the yard sometime and I'll, there's something, and it takes me a while to figure it out, and it was the landfill. But as a rule, kind of a 2-to-1 or a little better than 2-to-1, people are telling me that are in my district over there that it has improved greatly as far as smell goes. And to me, we've got to look if there's changes to Republic. They are spending a lot of money to try to capture that smell, and it's in their favor to catch all that gas, and that gas is what's making the smell. And of course, they're making money off of capturing that methane gas, which is, like I said, the leachate in that is what you're smelling.
Yeah.
So it's in their favor to catch it too, and I think they're trying. In fact, I know they're trying, and I know it's improved. Now, are they perfect? No, because I'll drive over there early in the morning or late in the evening, and I can smell it when I get around that intersection there at Walter Hill with Jefferson Pike and 231. So, no, they haven't done away with it, but it is greatly improved. I was surprised.
Mr. Chairman, we were really grateful to have you this morning, and God bless you for your service to this county community.
Well, thank you.
Same here. Thank you. You're welcome anytime to come back.
Yep.
Well, it's good to see both of y'all again.
Great for the information, and this is what I wish would get out there daily. Unfortunately, but it's not happening. Sir. But everybody, I hope you have a great week, and button down the hatches. It looks like we got some weather moving in, and Brian will probably get into that here in a few minutes. But have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna.
Murfreesboro is a